Hello. I just want to start out by giving a brief tour of Pro Engineer and kind of the different parts of it. To do that, I'll just be going through the simple modeling workflow, the general conceptual idea of workflow that will be used throughout the Starbase lessons. Every time you open up Pro Engineer, by default it opens to this browser page, which is actually you're on the internet, if of course you have access to the internet. But on this page, there's tutorials, there's discussion boards, all kinds of things to help engineers solve their pro engineering problems or to learn new things. To get started with a new part, you can move right up here to the new file icon, or you can navigate through the file pull-down menu, file, new. And then this is an important step. You always need to name your files and choose the type of file that you'd like to create. In general, we'll be making part files, and then also, in general, we should give our files relevant names. I always put my name or my call sign attached to it, and then whatever kind of part it's going to be. I'll say this is going to be a cube. You also notice that the words are stuck together. If you try to put a space in there and click OK, Pro Engineer does not like that. It considers those spaces an illegal character. So that's easily solved by just either putting no space in between or connecting words with an underscore. Okay, and we'll start. So now this is the main design screen in Pro Engineer, and there are several different areas, lots of different tools. I'll start out by showing the design tree. You can see the name of my part, and then these are a list of the work planes or datums that are available to work on. Work planes are basically where the sketches will exist, and we'll have to select those based on where we want them to exist. They can be selected by clicking on them from the design tree. Any one of them can be chosen, or they can be selected from the datum themselves. After the sketch is selected, we need to tell the computer that we want to sketch. So we move over to the sketch icon or the sketch tool, click on that. You can see that the orientation changes and we enter into this kind of dark background screen called the sketcher. First thing that always happens in the sketcher is that Pro Engineer wants to confirm where the sketch will be, that yes, it's on the top, it's got this other reference orientation to the front datum. Basically, it's looking for an XYZ orientation that it can create its geometry based on. So we don't have to know that or really care about that too much for what we're doing. We just say, yes, Pro Engineer, this is where I want to sketch. Now, we just select the proper tool for the shapes or sketches that we want to create using the various tools in the sketcher. Since I'm making a cube, I'll choose a rectangle and then draw the rectangle. To make a sketch, I just click it to kind of start and then pull my mouse. I actually don't have to hold on to the left click button at all. I can pull it and drag it out without holding on to the left click. To stop, I left click again, and there's my rectangle. If I drew another rectangle, or if I clicked again, it would be another rectangle. It'll continue to do that because the rectangle tool is turned on. If I want to stop using the rectangle tool, I click on the 1x1 tool or the selecting arrow, and then now I won't be creating rectangles anymore. I want to get rid of this rectangle because I'm only making one cube, so I'm going to select it just by putting a selection box around it, and choosing the cut tool. This is another very useful tool, especially with students learning the program. A lot of times you'll get errant lines and extra little items in there. So if we turn on the Shade Closed Loops button or tool, you can see that my rectangle was shaded in. If my rectangle is somehow made to be invalid with overlapping lines or by opening up that loop, you can see that it no longer will shade in. Not until I get rid of any of the overlapping segments. I can do that. I'm using a tool, it's pretty useful, called Delete Segments, where instead of deleting an entire line, it'll just delete the segments wherever it intersects with some other line or line of reference. Alright, so it's not going to be a cube, it's going to be this two rectangle type shape. Alright, so now that I'm done with my sketch, if I go back to my 1x1 tool, I can see that, yep, it's valid again. And I'm going to check it in. Every time you're done with the sketch, or really any other part of your design, Pro Engineer needs you to check it in to say, yes, this is complete. I'm ready to move on. So I click this Done.